What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bench Warmers. It's week 11. Is it week 11? Week 11
Week 11.
schedule analyzers episode. A day late, but it's fine. Just about to end week 10. Today is Judgment Day. And as we get ready for week 11, Merry Christmas to everyone. And my name is JJT with Komish Eric. Komish,
Yes.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to
Two-day
everybody.
break just to spend time maybe with family and just to take a break, a bit of a break from fantasy. But we are back for another for more fantasy basketball. And today we'll talk about week 11 schedule. But before that, let's quickly talk about some injury updates. As this game game day is winding down. Devin Booker was stint in today's game was cut short. He played a few minutes and was declared out after that. It's something not right. I doesn't look too serious, but still, it seems like it's more precautionary for today.
I would say that I didn't have that same view as you. I think it's not the seriousness of AD's injury maybe, but it's something substantial because he's been out for a while with that groin. He came back for a game, then out again for 3 games. It seemed like before today he just wanted to play because it's Christmas Day. No, that's one thing I got from his interview. He said he's not gonna miss a Christmas Day game because it's rare. But 4 minutes he was walking down the court, and then after when he went out, he was talking to himself in the bench and had a dejected look. Could be a re-aggravation. And I said, when you re-injure something, it's not gonna be pretty. The recovery time might be longer. We have to wait for official reports, but I think he's gonna be out a while.
A few more games.
In my opinion, yes, he's gonna be out a while. He's gonna be in your injured list, not the IL plus. Let's put it that way. It's gonna be in your injured list.
Another player who got injured over the past few days was Sabonis, Domantas Sabonis, hand injury. A bit concerning, the reports. There's seems like they're still gonna consult.
I think it's a break.
Broken hand.
Whatever, broken part of the hand. I don't know. We don't know which part. Because when the X-rays are not negative, then there's a break. That's what X-rays can see, right? I'm a good doctor now. I have fantasy just helped me, get to medical school. When you X-ray something, the only thing you can see is really the bones. So when there's an injury there, it's a break. There's a break in the bones. But remember, Kevin Love broke his thumb. He didn't miss any game. He's playing
he missed
now.
A few, I think.
He missed. I think he played, then missed one game, then continued to play. He didn't play well, but he played.
Yeah.
So Sabonis, we still don't know if he's gonna play through it because I think there's a pain tolerance thing there. Maybe they're gonna bandage it well for him to play. That's possible, or it might be something that would need surgery. Then he's gonna be out for a while. So it can go, huge spectrum of good to bad to really.
So who benefits here? Does Richaun Holmes get some playing time?
He should be the starter. There's Nimas Quietas who sometimes get the start, the Quietas or whatever. But I don't think they're gonna start him. I think it's Holmes. It's a cleaner, replacement, veteran who probably, you can just plug and play. But I don't think he's gonna play 35 minutes like Sabonis is doing. He's not gonna play 30. Never, even before when he was a fantasy asset, was he playing 30, 32 minutes, if you remember.
Yeah.
He usually just plays 20, 22 minutes. And I think that's where he would fall. And then they might play small ball because they have Metu. They have Chimesi Metu, who is a really good player also. And then they have Trey Lyles. So those players are all gonna get minutes. I would say that Holmes will start, and then Lyles and Metu would get substantial minutes also.
And with that, does it look like the fantasy outlook for Holmes is as good as he used to be? Just because
No.
there's lots of options. The thing with me here is that he isn't really part of the rotation in the first place, right? He hasn't
Um,
been a big part of the rotation, not even off the bench significant. And
yeah, that's true.
when that's the case, usually teams don't just put you there and play you 30 minutes or 25 minutes all of a sudden, right? There's a reason why they aren't playing you. You're not really part of their plans. So we'll look into other players, like you said. Riles has had some games where he plays a little more minutes. Metu has had some games where he's played a little more minutes. That, overall, I think Holmes is way down the depth chart, for 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 Sacramento, and it's probably the reason why I can see lots of Holmes as well, on the waiver wire still. Usually, if something like this happens, he's off quickly, but it looks like he won't play a
I
major part, or we just don't know. Maybe we are speculating a bit that he won't be a major fantasy asset for the Kings.
For me, I would, if you have a streaming spot, I would add Holmes. He's gonna be my stream. It's gonna be my stream already right away for tomorrow, and then see what happens. Because as you said, he had before was a good fantasy player, so there is a history there. We have already have some data already on Holmes. So let's go there first. If you want to gamble, because everything is gonna be a gamble. If you want something sure, you're gonna be too late. You're
Yeah.
gonna be too late. You have to make a decision. So if you're gonna make a decision right now, it's Holmes, and then I would go with Lyles. No, I'll go Holmes and Lyles. Then if you really are too late already on the two, I'll give it a shot with Metu. I think Metu is a
Or
pretty
if
solid
you're in
player.
a deeper leagues like 16 or 18 team leagues, maybe Metu would still be available.
Yeah, yeah. Metu, in 18 team, I think I'll give Metu a shot. I'll give Metu a shot. But if not, Lyles. Lyles is the one you give a shot to first before Metu. So that's how I will rank them. I will rank them.
Right. And I guess lastly, AD, like some better news, I guess. I'm not sure if it's really good news, but at
Better
least better.
news. Well,
Looks
yeah,
like
at
the
least
1 month timetable is still there on the table. It's still an option. But there's really no, how do you call this? They said it's a
stress fracture. Yeah,
stress injury.
stress
They didn't
injury,
even
stress
say
injury.
it's a stress fracture. I don't know if there's a difference, but they said it's a stress injury. 1 month still is the timetable, but we don't know.
But let me educate you guys as a doctor again on fantasy
Putting on
medicine.
the doctor's hat.
No, stress injury could be stress fracture, could be just something that stress related on the foot. So it could be a no break thing, no fracture, no anything. So this is good news. But again, stress, anything with stress something means you need to rest it. So the pain is gone. That's good. So you wait for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe that would leave you until week maybe 13. Then they would decide how to go forward, like maybe slowly ramp up activities or rehab or whatever. So it's good that it's not out for the season. There's probably no need for surgery, probably because there's still a chance he would need surgery. But well, still a while before you can have him. Your hope now, if you have AD, is that he's going to be ready when you need him in the fantasy playoffs. I think that's your best hope, that he'll be good to go by that time.
And hope that you still are within contention
Well,
of that
yeah,
um,
basically,
fantasy playoff spot.
yeah.
So yeah, those are some major injury updates. I think Steph is still on track. Maybe a couple
Yes,
more weeks.
couple more weeks, I
Hopefully
think.
early next year, he'll be ready to play. So it's
How about
really,
your player, Jimmy?
oh, oh my
Jimmy,
goodness,
your
Jimmy
guy.
Butler is
Uh,
questionable once
how's Jimmy?
again. I
How's
don't
your
know.
Christmas,
I'm
Jimmy? How's
I'm
how's Jimmy? How's he doing?
injured again.
Oh, injured.
Injured again.
Okay, okay.
Our
That's it.
favorite.
Just asking. Just
Uh,
asking how your player
yeah,
is.
not
How's your
surprising. I
boy?
think the thing that will surprise us if he plays through anything. But yeah, he is questionable for tomorrow. So we'll see. Maybe he plays. Maybe he won't. But week 11 schedule. Let's talk about it. Only one team, pretty evenly spread out among all the teams except for one team, which is the Portland Trail Blazers, who will only have 2 games tomorrow. The rest is spread out with 4 and 3 games, 3 game week. Back quality game days. There will only be one. That's New Year's Day in Manila, right?
No, I think New Year's Day there in the
Oh yeah,
States.
New Year's.
January
So
2.
Judgment Day here, right?
Judgment Day is New Year's Day in the States and January 2 here.
Yeah,
Just like
just like
today.
today, just like
Just like
today.
today. Yeah.
So Judgment Day um will be a quality game day. So just like today, if you are not able to keep the matchups close, it will be a problem because on Judgment Day, yeah, you might have some streaming options there, but I don't think 1 or 2 streams will help, especially if it's
Yes.
not close. Uh,
Yes.
like today, I have some matchups where I'm 4-5 down, but it's not even close. It's not worth streaming for. So
Talk to
I
me
just
about
let
it.
it go.
All my FPW leagues are down. I have no wins at
I
all.
saw I
And
saw the one wherein you were up 8-1, and then when I looked at the matchups,
it's
oh, it's
4-4.
not gonna win
Yeah.
because there's everything's close.
Everything's
Uh,
close.
so yeah, next week. The good thing is it's the schedule is pretty evenly spread out. So you
Yeah.
really have to get a good head start early, and then the last day would probably be just a formality. Hopefully you are just a category away from winning it, and it's not even it's going. Hopefully it's close, right? It's close. Back to back, no back to back between today and tomorrow, and then we have Tuesday to Wednesday 5 teams with back to back: Charlotte, Houston, Indiana, Clippers, San Antonio. We'll just go through these and then talk about the streaming plan. I think that's where the meat of this discussion is going to be. Wednesday, Thursday, Atlanta, Denver, Golden State, Lakers, Orlando, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Washington. So lots of teams with back-to-back schedules between Wednesday to Thursday. That's Manila time. And then Thursday to Friday, there will be none. Friday to Saturday, only Toronto. Saturday to Sunday, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, Minnesota, New Orleans, Philly, and Utah. Sunday to Monday, Memphis, and then Monday to Tuesday, that's going to be Denver. That makes it even worse because there aren't many teams having back to backs towards the end of the towards the end of the week or towards Judgment Day. But streaming plan. So
Yeah.
Kumesh mentioned 5 teams will have a good
That's
schedule at the early part of the week.
yeah, which is the teams you mentioned that have back to backs to start the week, which is Tuesday tomorrow, and then the first 2 days of the week, basically Charlotte, Houston, Indiana, Clippers, and the Spurs. They're important because they have a back to back. If you're gonna stream, they have a back to back to start the week. Plus, then they take a 1 day break. Then they have a game again on the fourth day. So basically, 3 games in 4 days.
Yeah.
For these 5 teams. So that saves your moves. No, that saves your moves. So these 5 teams would be the teams you have to consider if you want a good head start
Uh,
for next week.
Now, would there be any players there? Yeah. The Clippers probably have some players. San
Yeah,
Antonio would probably have some players. I mean, the Clippers would probably have Kennard there, Batum there. Maybe if Powell was, somehow dropped just because he just came back from injury, he can be an option. For the Spurs, maybe Sohan is still available. I'm not sure if he's still available on your wire, but they have a back-to-back tomorrow, I think, starting
yeah,
tomorrow. So
yeah.
that's a
Starting
good. San Antonio probably have the most options there. Plus,
Zach Collins. I did put in my targets. Zach Collins and Sohan are two of my favorite targets for tomorrow. We already know that Kawhi is gonna rest, so the Clippers would rest probably Kawhi tomorrow. I'm not sure. Maybe Paul George on the second back to back. Maybe Paul George is the one's gonna rest. Norman Powell might not play both back to backs. So there will be rest, and then John Wall for sure would not play both back to back. So as Jeremy said, Luke Kennard, somebody you can look at. There would be players in the Clippers. Also, Houston, we know Eric Gordon is a little banged up, might not play even any of these back to back. So KJ Martin, guy that I always go to when Eric Gordon is out as a streamer. So there are gonna be some choices with these five teams. With these five teams. Even Charlotte, there might be some choices because Nick Richards is out with a sprained ankle that looks serious. So the backup center position is open. Maybe Kai Jones,
Mhm.
for deeper leagues. So the five teams that you have some choices there.
All right. Then after that, the second half of the week, there will be six
No,
teams
actually before the second half of the week, actually this is an option. You can go with these five or the next six
or the
because
next
the
six.
thing with the thing with the five that we mentioned is they have a back to back as we said. But the second day back to back is a 10 game day. That's on Wednesday. So maybe you already have a full roster there. So even if you get, let's say, Kennard or the players we mentioned, KJ Martin, you won't be able to use them on that day. No, because you're already full. Your roster is already full. So it's just a
Yeah.
waste. No, so maybe you want to go to these six players, Utah, Miami, Detroit, six teams, Utah, Miami, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota, New Orleans, whose games are every other day.
Hmm.
So Tuesday, then Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday, they have back to backs. So that might be better for you looking at the breakdown of games that we said. So instead of having a game on Wednesday, which is as I said, a complete slate, you might be able to use their players more,
Yeah.
right? That's just an option for you guys. Depends on how your team schedule
Your
is
star players or your top
looking,
guys are depends on their schedule
or
as well.
your
Or
or
your
your, or your
non-streaming
overall schedule.
spots or
Maybe
your
you have,
non-streaming spots.
yeah, your non-streaming spot. You might have 10 players already in the 10 game week, so you don't need to stream. So
Yeah.
even if you get somebody with a back to back, what's the point? You're not
Yeah, there's
able,
no
you're not
point
gonna
in
use
that.
him over other
That's
players,
actually
right?
a good
So
tip as
yeah, it
well.
depends.
It doesn't mean that there's a back-to-back that's a better schedule, but it just means that
Depends. Yeah.
yeah, it still depends. Sometimes that can help too. Those streams wherein you stream a player with back to back because
Yeah.
some of your players might be game time decision or some of your
True.
players might just sit out. You're not sure if they're gonna be playing, so you just have to check some of these things before adding certain players or streaming certain players. Talking about some teams with bad schedules, of course, Portland with two games is definitely not ideal. Players like Dame, Nurkic, Josh Hart, those Jeremy Grant, that's going to be tough to own those players. And you know, so that there's that, and also teams like Atlanta, Brooklyn, Golden State, the Lakers, Portland, Orlando, and Phoenix, who will only have one game in the last 4 days of the week. So
Actually,
that's
that's
not going
that's
to be
for
good.
me. That for me is a little talking about the last part of the week. These teams have only one game, so sometimes somebody like Dante DiVincenzo is gonna be harder. But Dante is
Yeah.
playing well. But it's really hard. I mean, holding just Austin Reeves, for instance. I put Royce O'Neal. I put AJ Griffin. These guys are players who are worthy, I think, of at least a slot in your 14 team leagues,
Yeah.
sometimes even standard leagues. But uh it's
Making
a
the
decision.
decision, it's
It's a
harder.
decision. Yeah,
I
it's a
think
decision.
usually it boils down to where you are in the standings, how good or of a lead do you have. I think
Yeah,
that's where it boils down to. Can you afford to take that L for the week? Right? I mean,
yeah,
if there aren't really any other players there available, why these can be medium term holds, right? While some of the key guys are out, like Dante, while Steph is out, maybe he's gonna be good for another 2 3 weeks, right? Um,
yeah, yeah.
Austin, we don't know, but all of these guys, like you said, playing well. It really
Actually,
depends where you are in the standings.
there's two kinds. Another kind is guys who are good. but they're not playing well. Let's say Wendell Carter. You've been hoping he comes back. He comes back and he's in minutes restriction. Now in 4 days, he gets one game. And you're gonna have to hold him not in IL plus anymore, but
Yeah.
in your roster because he doesn't have an IL. He doesn't have a game time decision tag. So a situation like that would also hurt you. On the other hand, we didn't mention about teams that have good second half of the week schedule. Just to mention the Memphis, Denver, two teams that I would really like to target at the later part of the week. Memphis, they have 3 games in the last 4 games. They have the number one schedule the last part of the week. So removing a guy like Dante or AJ Griffin with, let's say, Brandon Clark, Santi Aldama, these guys, are maybe Tyus Jones. That's two additional 2 games over those guys. So even if, let's say, Tyus versus Dante, I would prefer Dante right now. But if you have 3 games of Tyus, that's still probably gonna overall be better than Dante. So that's something you have to consider, including Denver also. Denver
Yeah.
also have a schedule like that, and also Washington. The fact that Washington, Denver, these two teams have games on the last day, which Jeremy said is the only quality day we have this week, also is another plus. Is another plus because that's gonna be big, and that's gonna be big for Clark, Brandon Clark, Tyus Jones. For the Wizards, maybe I don't know, Rui. I don't know. Rui's returned already. So these
Monte.
teams you can consider. Yeah,
Yeah. Monte, in case he was, dropped,
Monte
or
Morris. Yeah.
he's really a borderline
So,
holder. So yeah, those are some of the
and actually last thing, Sacramento, good second half of the week. Back to back on Wednesday, Thursday, and then games on the 2 more games after that. So they have a good schedule also later part of the week, and that brings us to what we talked about with Sabonis, with the injury of Sabonis. So that makes maybe Holmes a little safer to add, I guess.
yeah.
Holmes, Metu,
So just to
Lyles.
clarify, the second half of the week, the teams with a better schedule for the second half of the week: Memphis, Denver, Washington, and Sacramento. 4 teams
Yes.
who will
Mm-hmm.
have a better second half of the week schedule.
Yes.
So you can add players from those, and maybe forego adding players from the 6 teams, or yeah, the 6 teams or 7 teams that have bad schedules towards the end of the week. Some streaming target: Tari Eason, KJ Martin. We haven't really mentioned Houston being one of the teams with a relatively good schedule for this week. Aaron Neesmith has been hot. Um, and yeah, player you
Well,
can
he's
add,
questionable.
although he is
So
questionable.
so just yeah.
So this is where the settings come into play now, whether you can add him early or not. Or maybe Jalen Smith. Well, let's see if he plays. Maybe in deeper leagues, you can still
If these
stream him.
guys are out, then maybe O'Shea and Isaiah Jackson will be the replacements.
Yeah.
So just check their status.
Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark for Memphis, as Komish said, second half of the week, in case that they're still available. Patrick Williams for Chicago. Sohan and Zach Collins, we mentioned already. And then, of course, the Dylan Wright from Washington could be a good stream towards the second half of the week as well. Caleb Martin, you know why. Naz Reid, Jalen Noel, Alvarado, Najee Marshall, Norm Powell, Marcus Morris, other streaming players, and of course, the Sacramento replacement, whoever that will be. Does Sacramento have a game early in the week?
Yeah, they have a back to back on day 2 and day 3. So
Yeah,
that's
so
why
that's
that's why
perfect.
they're
That's
good.
perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
You can get that Holmes can get Holmes early, and if he's not part of the rotation, you can just drop him altogether early on
Yeah.
and just pick another player. So yeah, I think that's a perfect scenario in case you want to take a risk, a good risk reward player for this week. All right, that's it. Week 11. My goodness, what's our playoff schedule? Week 20, right? Ours is week 20.
20, week 20, yes, 20 to
So
22.
we are past the halfway mark of my teams are still struggling there at the 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th spot. So hopefully I get some good weeks ahead of me, of course, towards the new year, 2023. All right, guys, that's it for today. Week 11 schedule analyzer. Hope this helped you guys. And as always, please follow us on our socials, especially on YouTube. Please subscribe. On Twitter, please follow us. All of these on the description. All of the links in the description below. All right, that's it. Bye, guys. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.